forearms, the short arms, I pretty much use 3-inch stockinette. And if it's a peds patient, I might use 2. So let's cut off some of that.
And you said radial gutter is for like a
So radial gutter would be for your second and third
metacarpal.
metacarpals. Yep. And I don't always measure this on the patient. A lot of times I just do it on myself because I know I'm taller than Kim. So if it's long enough for me, and I cut that off. I'll try to get over here where they can see it. So I just cut my stockinette and I just measured it on my arm. So for radial gutter, we're going to make a hole for her thumb in this, and then also a hole for her ring and small finger. So the thumb is going to be about here. It doesn't have to be huge. I actually make it pretty small because I want some padding from this too. And then for the ring and small, so that's going to be there. You're going to cut it about right here. Just another little hole. Don't need much. So then we're going to put that on her.
So the uninvolved fingers are on the outside of the stockinette?
We're doing a radial gutter. Yeah, so the stockinette goes over the fingers you're going to wrap up. So see how that,
Okay.
let's see if we can you guys all see that?
Thank you.
So we got these are the fingers we're splinting, and then we got these 2 out. So I'm going to pull this just a little bit more. Cover up your fingers, right about like that. That's perfect. Okay, now we're going to wrap our stockinette, and this is just some 2-inch stockinette. And if you're doing a cast, you got to worry about the fingers, putting something in between them because she's got rings on. That'd be a big no-no. But for this, we're just going to leave them on. But check the rings, obviously. That'd be.
So you'd want to put a little bit of gauze in between the two, or no?
If it was going to be a cast, but since
Okay.
we're just splinting, this is only going to be on maybe 10 days tops.
Okay.
So I'm just wrapping the fingers, then I come around the hand, and just with the Orthoglass, there's padding built in, so you don't have to go crazy with the padding. With plaster, I go a little thicker.
I think with plaster they used to say like 7 layers.
Yeah, you got to go thick with plaster.
And so with this, you're saying just 2 to 3.
2 to 3 is plenty. Yeah, because the splint has it built into it.
And are all sides Orthoglass now?
I hope they go to it. That's my really
'Cause I
hoping
can't
so.
keep track of.
So I want to go up on the thumb a little bit because when you cut your hole, you don't want that to rub. So you can pad that up. One of the areas of pressure point is going to be your ulnar styloid, so make sure there's lots of padding there. If you're doing a long arm, it's going to be your olecranon and your medial epicondyle. Those are areas that are sort of bony prominences that can rub on the splint. So, and usually once I get past the wrist, I just go to a bigger roll. So like a 3 or 4 inch now, just so it doesn't take as long. Making sure that wrist is padded. And if you want to pad an area, this stuff tears really easy, so you can just kind of, do that. And just tear it. Then you work your way up the arm. If I don't like the angle, I just tear it.
Is it like sometimes mine will have wrinkles because I didn't know you could tear it that much.
Yeah,
is
just
that
tear
a big
it.
deal? Okay. Try to
Yeah.
prevent wrinkles.
So this is kind of how it looks with all the padding. She's mummied up. So this is your radial gutter. And I always want to see the fingers. See how I can still see her fingers? Check her cap refill. So for the Orthoglass, this is what it looks like in what we use. And this is a 3-inch, and that's fine. A 4 would be fine too on her, but I have 3 here. This stuff, you got to be careful because it can harden if oxygen gets to it. So that's what this little clip's for. So what I do,
Let's see if I can.
see if we can turn that towards this way a little bit.
Let me just do both.
Yeah,
I can do
there
this
we
one.
go.
Oh,
So
thank you.
I just kind of use my arm to measure it. And there's some of this is folded over so you get a little length there too. So then what the important thing I want to show you with this is when you cut this, I'm already thinking about the next time I'm using this. So what you want to do is before you do anything else, you're going to fold this up. And then you're going to take this off the other end and you're going to put that on here. Because now I've sealed off my roll that's going back in the cabinet. And this is the one I just cut off, and this is what I'm going to work with. So that's what it looks like. That's your fiberglass. So we can put that back over here. And, okay. And so now I'm just going to size this. Supposed to have you hold your arm kind of like that. Yep. And when this stuff hardens, this is the part that scratches the patient. So that's going to have to be, you can pull this out a little bit. I'm going to be cutting some off too, but so you want to come, so the antecubital fossa, you come about 2 inches up from that so she can bend her arm. I cut this way too long, but, and my length is going to go down about right there. See that?
Mm-hmm.
Tip of the fingers. So we can get rid of all this. Real easy to cut now, not easy to cut after it hardens. And then I have to cut my hole for my thumb, which is going to be about right about here. You can just fold that over and cut it. I usually just get it started, and then I put my scissors through
Okay.
and finish it. Yeah. And you can stretch some of this out too. Okay. And then I just make sure that looks good, and it does.
Sweet.
See? And now I'm gonna wet it down. So you get a towel. We're gonna put this in some water. Hey, will you do me a favor, Jamie?
Yep.
Can you open that ace wrap up?
Yep.
And a 2-inch too?
Yep.
Make a mess here. You can kind of wring this out like that. Take your towel. Now I'm moving fast because that water's warm and this stuff starts setting quick. You get that a good squeeze. Okay. Come back here. And we're going to start wrapping pretty quick. Let me see the 2-inch. Yeah. Jamie's helping me out here because for speed. You don't want to wait too long on this fiberglass because it starts to set if you have warm water. It'll set quick. So that's that. We're going to go around the hand. And you can get one layer on here, and then you can shape it after you do that.
Always distal, proximal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good idea just for swelling reasons.
Okay.
So I like 2-inch just because it gets around the hand better. So now I'm going to make sure this isn't sticking out. See that? Remember what I said about the sharp part? And if you wrap your web roll, you can even fold this down if you had to. You don't have to, you can cut it, you can fold it down. The important thing is that's not touching the arm right there, see that? And then we take another 3-inch. We just kind of go like that.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to work tomorrow, guys.
So I just fold that down so it's not rubbing on her arm. That's another way to do it. And now I'm going to shape it. So with the wrist, you want her just a little bit of extension, and you want the fingers flexed to anatomical. So this is the part where warm water's nice because it's already setting. You feel it warming up?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just for speed. If you use warm water, it's going to set, I don't even know, twice as fast maybe. Make sure they're not ulnar deviated, radial deviated. Make sure they're not sitting in flexion. So you want just a little bit of extension and then centered. So that's where she's at. And you just kind of hold that while you're talking to them. And then this is kind of a good time too to tell them kind of what your plan's going to be. You're going to have this on until you see the doctor, the orthopedic doctor. You can't get this wet. I go through cast care instructions for splint care. This needs to be treated like a cast. You have to put a bag over it. Tape around the bag on the arm when you're in the shower. Hold this arm like this out of the shower and wash with your other hand. This cannot get wet. You'd think, oh great, they're going to ortho. It'll happen really fast. Sometimes it's 7 days, sometimes longer before they even see him. This will work fine. If she's got a second metacarpal fracture, this will keep it stabilized till they see the. So there you go. Let's see if we can show them the finished product here. That's okay, sorry. So this is kind of how it looks when it's done. That's a fiberglass. And if you guys have done plaster, you know why we love fiberglass. I'll show you here in a minute. It's messy.